Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly pick a card reading for Monday the 15th to Sunday the 21st of May. All my friends, whenever you come across this message, just trust that these messages are intended for you when you fall on them. So if you look at the dates, or if you've clicked on it, because I don't write any dates on the description, if you've clicked on it and you've heard the dates and you've thought, oh no, that's ages ago, just know there was a reason that you clicked on it, and go ahead and select a pile and see what messages come through. Sometimes the messages that come through might not actually be a heads up for the future. Sometimes they can just be a confirmation of hindsight, like what has been in the past, and what lesson you can extract from maybe an experience that you've just been through. So there are so many ways that these general messages can apply to an individual. So just trust if you're ever guided to a reading and the date on it is incorrect, just trust there's a reason why it came up in your search, or it came up as you were scrolling through, because we are so guided, my friends, and I think sometimes we forget that. And how do we allow spirit to guide us is by when we fall on things, or things that just seem a bit haphazard. That's the universe guiding us. That person that we meet, and then 3 weeks later we meet again and they have a job offer for us, or something like that. Those are the synchronicities, those are the serendipity moments that happen to us, that if we're aware enough, are really, really beautiful and always for our benefit. Let's get started. Okay, my friends, we have pole number 1, we have pole number 2, pole number 3, and pole number 4. For pole number 1, we have the lepidolite. For pole number 2, we have the blue quartz. For pole number 3, we have a mookaite. And for pole number 4, we have also a mookaite. So just the different color variations of the mookaite. So my friends, as usual, select a pile by number, one that just catches your eye, by crystal, whatever guides you intuitively. If you're drawn to more than one pile, please feel free to select as many piles as you need to. Just trust there'll be a message in each one of those for you. Also, I forgot in the introduction to thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you if you are returning. Thank you if you have just found my video. I hope that these messages, these channeled guided messages, help you and assist you in finding your intuition, tapping into your intuition, and also making the best decisions for you at this point in time. Hello, pole number 1. Welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. So we have use your anger. Oh, that's interesting. That's actually really interesting. We have ground yourself. We have the King of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Sun. We have evolution. And we have meaning. Okay, pole number 1. I'm really drawn, like, look at the reds and oranges and combinations of those colors in this reading. Now, So if you're new, with my weekly readings, I like to have, or with almost all my readings, I like to have a overall energy, and so the two cards on either side are the overall energy. So it's like a way that the one energy flows into the other, or how the energies are likely to change throughout the week, or how they work together. So the overall energies are quite important because they actually filter through the whole reading. And then there's the two other oracles and the tarot for additional information. Sorry, I've just noticed that's chopped them off a little bit. There we go. I'm a very visual person, if you haven't noticed. I like everything to just be just so. I just think it's much easier when I'm reading if you can actually look at the cards and read them and see them, and because I feel that your intuition kicks in then. And if your intuition kicks in, that means when I read a particular card, if you are really, really drawn to that card, the message is likely to be one that is really meant for you, really one that you'll probably hold on to. So I'm not sure if that's going to focus. There we go. So it says, use your anger. Inner fire sparks outer actions. And I love this deck of cards. So this deck of cards is The Secret Language of the Soul by Inner Segal. That's Segal, and Inner is Inna. So I apologize, I probably said that completely wrong, but it's a beautiful, beautiful deck of cards. And the thing I love about this deck is how it takes seemingly negative traits, as in the anger, negative traits that we might have that we don't like about ourselves, or that we push away, especially in the spiritual community. We believe that anger is something to be overcome, and we should never get angry. If we are spiritually aware, anger shouldn't play a part in our lives. But excuse me, sorry, this deck reminds us that, gosh, every emotion, every part of us in the right context can be for our benefit or the benefit of others. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Spirit's just given me this beautiful example. Now, our anger, if we were never angry at our children, at teachers, towards the pupils and things like that, if we didn't show anger, if we didn't show, there would be a big aspect of their upbringing that would be missed. There would be that displeasure in somebody. When we get angry at somebody, there's displeasure, isn't there? And we don't realize that that is actually a tool for us to look into our own values, what and who we want to be. So when we show anger, or when we show what we perceive as a negative trait, it's a guide. It's a guide of our values. Okay, so Spirit's telling me to carry on because I've kind of taken their message and I've run with it. So they're gently bringing me back. So this card says, I'm sorry, I don't know why. Oh, that's better. There's just a certain angle that the camera seems to appreciate better. I'm just going to see if I can refocus that just a tad. think that might actually be better. Yeah, I think that's better. Inner fire sparks outer action. So for your reading, so Spirit's asking me to explain, so there might be some newcomers that just need to know how I read. So my messages are channeled. I get insight, I get visions, I get words that come to me, and then with that I formulate or I interpret what Spirit is trying to bring forth. And sometimes I get carried away on my own tangent, if you like, and Spirit will always bring me back if I get sidetracked. Now, with these readings, I hope to not only give you insight on what's ahead of you or what you've been through, but I also, my heartfelt intention is to actually offer you guidance, to offer you I guess I'm getting healing words, so words that enable you, guidance that enables you to move forward, enables you to understand on some level. So I don't just want to predict a possible outcome for your future or for your now, but I also want to show you or enable you to see all the potentials that are in your life, and how you are in the driver's seat. So with this card, it's so like there's an anger in you, pole number one. There's a thank you, Spirit. There's a frustration. So I'm feeling for the majority of you, it's probably more frustration as opposed to anger. It's like this frustration that I feel that I can't get this card to focus properly. But there's this frustration, there's this anger, there's this, for some there's a resentment, and I feel it's towards something that isn't coming quick enough. It's for something that you've been trying and it's not happening. There's something that is not happening in your life. Now, the first thing that Spirit's saying to me is trust in divine timing. This is not going to come about in your timing. This is going to come about in divine timing, because Spirit wants you to know that it is shifting things, and there's a lot more at stake here than just you and your how do I say that? So there's more here than just you. There's more here than just you moving forward, you accomplishing something. There's more in it. This is actually probably more important than you actually think to those around you. So it can be your family, it can be friends, co-workers, whatever. It can just be even the greater community. Now that we have access, to things like YouTube, and that we touch, social media, we touch such a broader audience than we ever could have. So I think pole number one, the first thing that you need to understand is that, or what Spirit is trying to guide you towards, is that this is bigger than just you accomplishing something for you. Much, much bigger. At the same time as Spirit is saying this is going to fall within divine timing, there is also a sense here that there's something that you've missed, pole number one. There's something that it either hasn't been shown to you yet, so you're missing a piece of the puzzle, or something that you're afraid to look at. Something that Spirit has just shown me a corner, and it's just been in a line across it. So it's like you're cutting a corner. Excuse me. And that's very interesting, because as I said that, my throat closed up quite considerably. So this is how we block ourselves. This is how we keep ourselves small. Inner fire sparks outer action. So there's something within you, pole number one, that is calling for your attention, but you're dismissing it for some reason. You're not allowing it to blossom in your mind. And if we don't allow things to develop first in our imagination, in our thoughts, it's really hard then to bring them through to the physical world. It's hard to manifest them. Now, I've just been drawn to the 25, and you know, the 2 is one, it's a number of stability and partnerships, and I'm feeling that, because I'm feeling like the 2 is here to kind of guide you, pole number one, that this means this means more than just you. This is going to impact more than just you. And the 5 is all about change. So there's things that need to change. And I feel that this is going to bring you a lot of change. But I feel the main reason I was drawn to the 25 is because in numerology that comes to a 7. It's a very spiritual number. But more importantly, we are working a 7 year this year. Sorry, I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee because my throat's feeling really scratchy. Excuse me. Thank you. We're working a 7 year this year. So I feel this energy actually permeates through the whole year. I feel what you start at this week, or what you understand this week, actually impacts the rest of the year, actually flows through the rest of the year. And that is something that is really important. I've just got tingles all over. And to me, that's a sign of what I'm saying has real significance. Real significance. So I feel, pole number one, there'll be moments of intense frustration, and Spirit saying if you can harness that, wow. Wow. There'll be times where you flow, and I feel that those times where you don't feel the frustration, when you just allow things to flow, that'll be the time when you're aligned with the divine flow, the divine timing. And then there'll be times where you get frustrated and you just think, that is Spirit's way of guiding you, that there is an action that you need to take. Now, Spirit is being very, very insistent that the action is not always one of physically doing. Sometimes it is an action of understanding something. It is an action that is first taken in your mind. And this is why Spirit's prompting me to talk about, you know, ourselves on a soul, mental and physical level. One is not to be outdone by the other, you know, and our mind, we often are told that our mind needs to be quieted down. It needs to be switched off. And my learning that comes to me intuitively when I'm channeling is one of no, each aspect has its place, and don't underestimate the work, pole number one, that your mind does in guiding you forward. You can't just stay in your mind, because that doesn't work. But you can't just always stay in the physicality of things, in the doing either. There's this balance, there's this connection, and I think that's one of the things that you're really actually going to be seeing, pole number one, is this balance of having an urge, a calling, having like a gut intuitive, oh, what's that all about? You know, it's this thing that just makes you look in a different direction. It's just this prompting. And then allow your mind to pick that up. Allow your mind, because your mind is of this world, yet your mind is limitless, like your soul. But your mind enables you to function in this world. So your mind is this beautiful bridge between your soul and your body. And I think it's time that we actually see it that way, that we actually see it for the beauty that it is. And then once you can make a picture in your mind, once you can see, how can I bring this divine intuitive hit that I've just got, how can I bring that into the physical world? How can I make something of that? Or what does that mean for me in this physical world? And then that sparks outer action, that sparks the doing aspect, the physical aspect. I've spent a lot of a very long time on this card for you, pole number one, and I hope you've stayed with me, because the message is super, super strong. And you know, pole number one, I'll share something with you very quickly, and I'm sorry that this is going to be such a long reading, but I've been thinking of doing like one card messages, and I've been thinking to Spirit, but what's one card going to do? Well, one card has just done virtually 19 minutes, so it can do a lot. So thank you, pole number one. I have received, in doing your reading for you, I've actually received an answer to a question that I had. So this is how Spirit works. This is how sometimes unintentionally we listen to something, or we're guided and it answers a question for us. So the other overall energy is ground yourself. And it says be in your body. And I feel that's a beautiful follow on through from this. Use your anger. Inner fire sparks outer action. Because we ground ourselves in our body. But when our body is grounded, our body is almost calmed. Our body is, it's very difficult to meditate, to gain insight, to have a calm mind when our body is agitated. And grounding our body enables us to really, we ground ourselves in the physicality, but it also grounds our mind. It also helps us to be more intuitive, to not allow our mind to run away on a tangent. When we're grounded and we're calm, we see things more honestly and more one after the other, rather than just skipping things and we lose. Spirit is showing me our minds running away on a tangent, our mind taking off in one direction, and before we know it, we've been lost in our thoughts for half an hour and we've reached nothing. This being grounded is going to be important for this process. So this energy assists this energy. Now also, Spirit is saying grounding yourself is not just a kind of meditation, yoga kind of practice. It is, that plays a big part, but it's not for everybody. Some people ground themselves in physical activity by going for a run or going to the gym, or so we all have different ways that we ground ourselves. Spirit is also saying to not overlook in how looking after your body, having a bath, caring and nurturing yourself, eating well. And this eating well was what came to me initially. Eating well, drinking lots of water, looking after your body, that is a real way that we nurture this body and we ground this body in reality. I'm probably fumbling a little bit. There's this feeling that I have that I'm struggling to put into words. I'm kind of hesitating because I'm hoping that Spirit will help me out. Sometimes if I don't gain extra assistance, it just lets me know that you know what I mean. Sometimes they will give me the words that I need. But there's this sense that don't underestimate how, oh, thank you, Spirit. Don't underestimate that what you do to look after your body, that what you do to nurture yourself is the biggest sign of love for yourself. And when you love yourself, everything changes, because when you love yourself and you do these things for yourself, it actually ripples through your whole life. There's this sense that you tap into your self-worth, because it's difficult to show yourself love and nurturing and kindness if you don't feel that you deserve it. So they're all interlinked. Now just go to the oracle now, and we have evolution. In each lifetime we learn and grow so much, and each lesson adds to the rich evolution of our soul being. Like a beautiful tapestry, we weave ourselves brighter and more brilliant with each expansion in our energy. Connect to the bigger picture and see the divinely guided evolution of your life. Oh my goodness, pole number 1. This is such a beautiful message. So it's so linked with what we've just been talking about. And this actually, prompts us to look further back than the life that we are living right now. Our past lives, they don't get carried through in our physical body or in our minds, but they get carried through in our souls. They're part of this, if you want to, like the blueprint of our soul. And different aspects of our past lives, of what we learned, of what we experienced, actually filters through into this life. It's like, ink on fabric. It bleeds through the fabric. So it's not as vibrant. It's not, because the colors fade as it bleeds through the fabric. But it's still there. It still makes up a part of you. There's going to be this sense, pole number 1, that you're going to be, I think you're going to be coming into a lot of understanding of how you do things, how you think things through, how you connect with your soul, your higher self, spirit, the universe, God, what it all means to you as well. There's this evolution in your way of thinking, of doing, and of being. So I really feel your reading is really on the 3 levels, because with the tarot, you've got the swords, which is the mind. You've got the pentacles, which is the physical world, which is your body. And then you've got the sun, and I'm seeing the sun here as, you know, the sun is like the God, if you like. And so I see that as your spirituality. So there's really the 3 aspects. And I love how the sun card has come through, like the aspect of your soul has come through as a major arcana, because the major arcanas are how spirit co-creates with us, the part that spirit plays in co-creating our lives with us. So I love that. So mind, body, spirit, very, very meaningful. And we have meaning. Living a life of meaning is done by creating significant acts that add value to your life and your community. As these acts ripple vulnerable energy out into the world, you leave an extraordinary legacy of influence and meaning. This is what we spoke of earlier, poll number 1. This is where your frustration on things not happening quick enough, of you not being able to get to a certain point or be able to achieve something. And I was saying that it's bigger than just you. This card reinforces that energy. As these acts ripple vulnerable energy out into the world, you leave an extraordinary legacy of influence and meaning. And this can be on any scale. This can be you just touch one other soul out there that just needed some help, or needed just a moment of kindness or a moment of something. And this can be on a much, much larger scale. This can be where you are of real service to humanity, to the world. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you touch one soul or 1,000,000 souls. It's just as beautiful. It's just as meaningful. Whatever you're trying to do, poll number 1, or whatever you're trying to accomplish, or the way that you're trying to move forward, or for some of you, the way or where your soul is trying to guide you, is really meaningful. And not only to you, my friends, not only to you. This is for something bigger than you, poll number 1. But I feel with the tarot, it's also for you. So like I mentioned earlier, your mind, your body, and your soul. And I feel it's how you realize how we function with all 3. We need all 3. We need to nurture and look after and listen to all 3. The King of Swords shows me that you are going to understand how valuable your mind is, how valuable your mind works for you, how all our minds are different. All our minds get caught up on different things. All our minds help and hinder us on some level. And I feel with the King of Swords here, you're going to understand that. And there's this level that the kings give back. The kings have received, learned. They have moved through all the lessons to gain the wisdom. They have evolved high enough to understand. and then they give back. So there's a sense here, pole number one, that what you have learned, you'll be giving back. The Four of Pentacles here in your reading is how maybe you have been too focused on your body, or maybe how you haven't been listening to your body. So for some of you, because this is a general reading, this is how have you made it all about your physical appearance, all about your body, or how you have made it nothing to do with your body. How has your body come last, to the detriment of you? And I feel that this block, in whichever way it is playing out for you, pole number one, is becoming unstuck. And the sun for your soul, like I said earlier, is just truly beautiful. And I feel that your higher self, spirit, the universe is really guiding you forward. The universe is really showing you the way. And I feel that because of this major arcana, I feel it's spirit, it's your soul that is really, really helping you move through in this physical aspect of you. It's helping you understand how all of you is important, how all of you, and I'm not saying all of you as in the all of you as a more than one person. I'm saying all of you as in your entirety, you as an individual, your completeness. Thank you, Spirit. That's beautiful. And this is about you, pole number one, and it's about you finding, using that anger, that frustration, to really, really move you forward, evolve, bring meaning, and really bring all aspects of yourself together. This is a really, really beautiful reading, pole number one. This is a reading that I hope reassures you and shows you that you can do what you, I feel, are being called to, or what really draws you. You can do it. You really, really can. You have everything inside of you that you need. You have been made this way. You have evolved this way because your uniqueness is what is required. Your way of thinking, your way of doing, your way of being. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light, and blessings, pole number one. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for returning. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number two. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have accept loving support. We have transform hereditary pain. Oh, that's interesting. We have death, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Pentacles. Oh, I love this energy together. We have substance, and we have rewards. Yes, we do. My beautiful pole number two. Let's have a look. So we have the overall energies and how they permeate, or how they work together, or how they go from one through to the other. We have the Oracle and the Tarot as additional messages. So I'm actually being drawn to start with this: transform hereditary pain. The past does not bind you. Now, I feel like I thought, oh, I wanted to start with this card, and I kind of was saying to Spirit, oh, I wish this card had come out first, and then Accept Loving Support had come out second. And of course Spirit laughed, or made me laugh, realizing that's silly. But so then it kind of said, well, I don't understand why they've come out this way. And Spirit is saying to me, loving support, let yourself be held. Spirit is saying to me, you have loving support all around you. And, you know, sometimes we find ourselves alone, and we find ourselves where we think, oh gosh, there is nobody to call on if I need help or if I need support. But there's something big that you're missing. And that's tapping into the all that is. That's tapping into the connectedness of all that is. Now, I do know that we all have our different beliefs, our different ways of looking at the all that is and how we interpret that, because, you know, nobody can say they're 100% certain, because we don't know. It's what resonates with us. But my belief is that we're all one. We, on this physical plane, we are an individual. Our mind and our body is our own, 1000%. But our soul is not. Our soul is connected to everything, which means that your soul is connected to every other soul. Your soul is connected to spirit. And then if we zoom out further from that, it's just oneness. Spirit has asked me to pause. So for some of you, time to allow that to sink in. Time to see, how does that resonate with you? And I'm really being guided to say, you don't have to take on my belief. You don't have to believe what I believe in order for us to be compatible, for us to understand each other. Everything that people say to us is a way for us to ingest it and then see, how does it sit with us. Just as we all have different taste palettes. Somebody might love something and you might think it's the most terrible thing you've ever tasted. And if you don't taste new things, you don't broaden your palate. You limit what you eat, don't you? Because you don't know. And you learn, or you come to understand what you like and what you don't like. And you form an opinion on that. And that's how we grow, that's how we evolve. Our spiritual learning is very much the same. It is very much, you know, we listen to what others say, we might read something, we might hear something, and then if we sit quietly with it for a little while, it might sit well with us, or it might transform. It might, as we think about it, it changes because we put our own belief on top of that and we come up with a slightly different way of thinking or believing or understanding. And that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us so interesting. We are so interesting. I had the pleasure, and I'm asking you if recently you've had the pleasure of meeting a perfect stranger. I was on a train recently and there was so many delays that I got the privilege to meet a wonderful elderly lady, and we had time to share. And I mean, she really, I heard not her complete life story, but a big portion of it, and I felt so privileged. And I was so interested because our lives are so different, so different. We are so different. We see the world so differently. And it was amazing. It was amazing to share a moment with a perfect stranger, learn so much about that stranger, and then possibly think, well, I may never see her again, but somehow there is benefit in what I heard. There is understanding in what I heard. And I feel with this transform hereditary pain, the past does not bind you. I feel, pole number 2, there's this real sense in your reading today that who you were, what you did, how you did things, it was you, but not the present you. There's this sense that you almost feel, what's the word, please, Spirit? It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't. You feel, and it's not obliged. Is it obliged? You feel obliged, pole number 2, to stick to the you that you know. There is almost like this sense of dedication to who you once were. You identify so much with the you that you've known for a long period of time that you almost can't paint yourself, or not paint yourself, but you almost can't see yourself as you are now. This is so interesting, pole number 2, because I just got, very interestingly enough, I just got the reason why I felt that I needed to share the story of meeting a stranger and hearing their life story. Because it's almost like if you met a stranger and you sat and chatted with them, you told them who you were, they would be like, oh wow, I don't get that. Oh, because your energy that you have now. So, you know, when we meet people, we make an assumption of them almost before they even open their mouth. And sometimes we are wrong, definitely, because we can't get the whole picture. But we pick up on energy, we pick up on the way they dress and the way they look and mannerisms and things like that, even before they open their mouth. And there's this sense that if you met a stranger now and told them about yourself, they would be like, oh, that's not what I get. That's not how I see you. If you met somebody from your past that hasn't seen you in a long time, they would say, wow, you've changed so much. Yet it's almost like you haven't caught up with yourself yet. You haven't caught up with the way that you've changed, because there's this sense that you identify with who you were in the past, and there's something about that that you feel you need to hold on to. There's something about that that you feel intrinsically makes up who you are, and therefore you can't let it go. Spirit is here saying that's going. You do not need that. You do not, it's not an aspect of yourself that you need to carry with you anymore. Not at all. And for some of you, pole number 2, there's this pain in your life. And when I mean pain, for some of you it can be physical pain, but for the majority of you, I just feel like there's these upsets. There's this feeling of things not being quite right, of you not being quite right, of things just not gelling, things just not working out as you would imagine. But there's this sense, I'm really feeling that things are not quite right, and you almost can't put your finger on it. It's not the outside circumstances, though. The outside circumstances do reflect what is going on within us. So yes, there are circumstances in your life that are probably painful or are not quite what you would have hoped for yourself. But it's not the circumstances that needs to change, it's something within you. It's something that you're holding within you. There's this sense of being quite closed off, pole number 2. There's this sense of, there's this need to open, which is really difficult. I completely understand when we're in a place of discomfort, unease, pain, physically, emotionally, mentally. The level doesn't really matter. It's difficult to open ourselves up and to keep ourselves open to love and light and acceptance. And I feel this overall energy. This is the overall energy that you are being guided to. This is the overall energy that is seeking you out, pole number 2. Let yourself be held. And you can interpret this, pole number 2, in so many ways. There's just this sense of allowing. Allow yourself to be guided. Allow yourself to be loved. And it's not just by those that are around you, but it's by, the universe, God, your higher self. Allow yourself to accept that there is so much more than you see or know right at this moment. And I'm ever since I saw this card at the beginning, and I didn't know quite what it meant, but I was really drawn to the white and the yellow here. And there's this sense that the light, the gold, you're white, so it's not like you're filled with darkness or anything. It's almost like Spirit is saying you're not a bad soul. Nobody is a bad soul. You're not lost. You're not nobody. There's this sense that the gold, the abundance, the love, the cherishing is slowly making its way through you. And I feel that you already feel it. You sense it. And I see the little thing in the middle. It's a love heart. You're a loving, loving soul. We all are. And there's this sense that open yourself up so you can give of that and you can receive from that. Oh, pole number 2. This reading is one of hope. And I think that's maybe what you really need to hear, pole number 2. I feel like you just really need to hear that the light at the end of the tunnel is closer than you think. But once you come out of that tunnel, there isn't another one in front of you. It's like the tunnel is there for a reason. And to view the tunnel more as a cocoon, as a sheltered space for you to move through. The tunnel is darker, it is quieter, and we view it as a scary, I don't want to do this. We view it as being confined and limited, and it's fearful, and it's, I don't know where I'm going, I can't see everything. What if you saw that tunnel, pole number 2, as your cocoon, a sheltered space where you can try different things, you can evolve, you can learn, but it's in an environment that is safe, that is limited, but for your own good. It's limited so that I'm getting shown the tunnel so it moves you through without you having, you know, when you come out the other end, when you come out into the light, that's when you have choices and you have decisions and things move, and there's this great expanse, and it's like, now what do you want? The tunnel is that space that enables you to evolve. You're limited so you can learn, understand yourself better. It's a place of collecting information, coming to greater understanding and wisdom, so then when you come out of the tunnel, you're in a place where you can see the possibilities. Will there be overwhelm? Yes, probably, but not as much. That's why we fight with the tunnel, we fight with the constricted atmosphere that we find ourselves in. But we should be so grateful that we are limited in our views, or we are limited in what we can do. So then that way, when we come out, the choices that we make will be from a place of wisdom, from a place of where we've learnt. The tunnel is a place, sorry, I'm spending so much time on this, but Spirit is telling me it's so important, so it keeps giving me a guidance on how to explain this, so that you'll all be able to understand and really gain wisdom from it. Because the tunnel is like the gathering of wisdom. It's like the gathering of understanding. In our limitedness, we actually come to understand what is important to us. What are we trying to do? So then when we come out and we have so many choices and so many decisions to make, and things tend to move more quickly, we're not lost, we're not overwhelmed, or not so much. We have an understanding of where we're going. We have an understanding of what is meaningful to us. So then we take the choices, we take the paths that mean something to us. And we have substance. Making the most of every blessed day means curating your sustenance to keep your energy bright and steady. Too many highs will bring many lows. Not enough nourishment means you'll struggle to show up for yourself and those who need you. Listen to and care for yourself. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Spirit. This is what going through the tunnel is. And the tunnel is a space of learning to listen and care for yourself, learning to understand what you need, learning to understand what's important to you, your values, understanding your goals, being in a place that moves more slowly so you've got time to catch up with your thoughts. It's more quiet and generally darker. There's not a million choices. There's not, you can't see the 20 steps in front of you. You can barely see the next step in front of you. It helps you tap into your intuition. It helps you listen to the nudgings of your soul, of spirit. It feeds you. It helps you come into a place that when you do step out of the tunnel, and there are so many choices, there are so many pathways, there are so many steps that you can now actually see. You're in a space where you can take them because you're rested and you're clear. And you can follow that inner guidance. And look at the next card, pole number 2. Rewards. Let the inner rewards along the journey be enough. If you are longing to be rewarded in any other way, you will never feel fully satisfied in the moment. Tune into how blessed you are to be connected to your heart, your purpose, and your journey. These 2 oracle cards I really feel talk about that tunnel, and I feel pole number 2. I know this is a general reading, but I really feel that all of you find yourself somewhere along that tunnel now. Some of you are scared to step into it. Some of you are halfway through it and you've had enough. You just can't see the end. Some of you are getting probably towards the end and you're starting to feel afraid of taking those steps, of taking that leap of faith when you get to the end. And all those feelings are quite potent. They're each in their own way are scary, are overwhelming, are challenging. But pole number 2, you've got this in spades. You are being held, you are being supported, and the more you can know that, I know sometimes we understand it, like, no, we don't, I'm sorry, that's not correct. We know that on some level, but we don't act like we understand it. We don't act like it's a truth for us. Thank you, Spirit. That's beautiful. We know it on some level, but we don't act like it's a truth for us, that we are supported the whole way through. Tune into how blessed you are to be connected to your heart, your purpose, and your journey. Because pole number 2, that's what it's all about. That's 1000% what it's all about. Now we have death, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Page of Pentacles. And I love these cards all together. I love that it's a page that is here, because the pages are young. They're at the beginning of something. And this Page of Pentacles, the Pentacles is the tangible world. It is, or you are, pole number 2, at the very, very beginning of something. You don't have all the answers. You don't have all the insight. You don't have all the understanding. You don't have all the clarity. And it's a new world that you're making for yourself. And I feel that ripples out into so many different aspects of your life. Now, we start off with the Death card. And I find this quite beautiful because I see here's the sun, new days dawning. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. That do not underestimate the power of what you are going through. Do not underestimate what you are learning right now, pole number 2. You may feel and that, what are you doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Where am I going? I'm doing nothing. You're not doing nothing. And if I may share a little bit about myself, I spent so much time in this learning space, in this space of being more than doing, because I naturally, I'm an Aries, ascendant Cancer, and my moon sign is Leo, so I have a lot of fire, and my Aries and my Cancer is both cardinal signs. So the cardinals like to do, they like to initiate, they like to instigate. So I like to start new things. I like to be in the doing. I like to have a plan. I like to know the actions that I'm taking. And Spirit decided, yep, perfect. Now we're going to show you how to be. And the hardest time I had was the understanding that being is not another word for doing nothing. It's not another word for being lazy. It's not another word for procrastinating. It's not another word for wasting time. And it has taken me, my friends, years. And even now sometimes I think, gosh, I'm not being proactive. I'm not getting out there. And every time I do, I'll get sick. Or something will happen that stops me in my tracks. I'll go to do videos and suddenly there's building works next door or something like that. And I feel that is because, you know, it's not just my chart, even though I shared that with you, it's not just my chart that makes me be a doing person, but all our lives we're told we should be doing something. Get up and do something. What are you doing? You know, so of course we're going to be all you know, focused on the doing. And I feel this Death card is the end of that for you, pole number 2. I feel, pole number 2, this tunnel for you is, or has been, depending on where you are along it, one of really learning, one of really going within, one of stopping. And for some of you, you could just be at the very beginning of this. So the universe might have slammed on the brakes for you in one way or another. But it's important. And allow it. Allow it. Because I cannot tell you the insight, the understanding, the wisdom that you gain from being in the being, from allowing this to unfold in divine timing, for allowing this to teach you what you need to learn, to view things differently, to be different. Because when you allow that, your next card is the Wheel of Fortune. Now you've got two major arcanas. This is Spirit acting, making things happen for you. This is the part that Spirit plays in the co-creation of our life. And what does Spirit need from you? This is how you co-create with Spirit. It needs you to be a beginner. It needs you to go back to basics. It needs you to understand that you don't know everything. It needs you to take a step back and see things differently. Be curious. Be inquisitive. This is an energy where it says you don't need to know it all. In fact, if you're holding on to the fact that you think you know, then you're not embracing this Page of Pentacles, because the pages know that they don't know. They don't have a clue. He's been given this Ace of Pentacles, and he can see, he can feel intuitively the opportunity there, but he does not know what to do with it. And the Wheel of Fortune is here. And that's like, the Wheel of Fortune is fate. It's I have this feeling welling up in me that I'm struggling to find a word for, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like pole number 2, you've been put on a flying carpet. Now, you have free will. Are you going to jump off? Or are you going to see where the magic takes you? Oh my gosh, if you had a magic carpet in front of you, would you jump on it? Because that's what this Wheel of Fortune is saying to me. Are you going to allow Spirit to guide you? Are you going to allow your world to change? Are you going to allow yourself to change? But this magic carpet doesn't leave me. This image of this magic carpet is, it's even as I'm talking and I'm getting other words, and the image of it is kind of like a still in my mind, and it's this sense of there's so much magic in this tunnel, and you will feel it every now and again, pole number 2, but I don't think you'll see the magnitude of the beauty of what you're going through, what you're about to go through, or what you've almost finished with, until you get to the end. And this is all about trust. This is all about trusting you and those notions that you're getting, and trusting that you are being guided by something bigger than things of this world to a real different stage of your life. There'll be endings. Things will definitely change throughout. Allow them to. Allow them to. Ride this magic carpet. It's fated. You have the free will, absolutely. But I feel the more you can release and let go, the shorter your tunnel will be. And I'm not talking about suppressing things. I'm not talking about just shutting your eyes and hoping for the best. It's not that. It's open your eyes, open your heart, open your mind. This inquisitive, curious, childlike wonder, the more you can tap into that, the more this journey will have meaning for you. There'll be things of the past that you let go, and there's going to be so much understanding of how you are nurtured, how you are held, and how you are loved. Oh my gosh, pole number 2. Such an amazing reading, I was just going to say, I feel amazing now. I really do. Come back to this reading. Every time you feel discouraged, every time you feel like you're doing nothing, come back to this reading. And I'm putting energy through to this reading that will be held throughout the reading. So you'll pick up on that energy of excitement and anticipation and what's going to happen next, curiosity. So when you need to lighten your energy, come back to the reading. Love, light, blessings, my friends. Enjoy this beautiful journey that you are on. Have a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. We have embrace, loving touch, reach out and connect. We have deepen your concentration, focus and grow into what could be. Oh, look at the colors. Oh, I love that. We have the 7 of Swords, the Chariot, and the Ace of Wands. We have vulnerability, and we have flow. Oh, I love these energies. Pole number 3, lovely, lovely. Okay, so we've got the overall energies, so how they flow from one to the other or how they work together, and then we've got the Oracle and the Tarot as additional information. So we have embrace, loving touch, reach out and connect. I'm so drawn to the light in the center here. It just makes me feel like there's electricity, and the electricity kind of radiates out through these points. And I feel the card is really saying that when we connect with Spirit, with all that is, with God, with our higher self, however or whatever you call the all that is, what is bigger than us, our humanness, if you like, it opens us up. And in connecting to the all that is, we connect to each other in a very different way. We connect to each other in a way that is much more aligned. We don't worry about saying silly things or being seen as being silly. We are just true. And therefore, we say and do things that are really more heartfelt. Now, this is really interesting because many of us feel, we think that if we opened up and we didn't watch what we said and we didn't, because a lot of us, and I know I certainly did this and still do at times. I probably catch myself a little bit more now, but I'm sure there are still times that I do it without even being conscious of it. But there's this sense of, almost thinking before we speak, definitely, but kind of like playing it over in our head of how it's going to come out, and don't say it like that, you'll sound needy. Don't say it like that, you'll sound insecure. Don't say it like that, you'll sound ridiculous, whatever it is. And we think that if we didn't censor ourselves that way, we'd say things that would hurt people, or we'd say things that were stupid, or we'd say things that were not needed. But it's actually the opposite that's true. When we allow ourselves to be uncensored, and it comes from a place of openness and connectiveness and love, it's amazing how what we say impacts others more, in a more heartfelt way. And there's a sense that before we can know this, we almost have to see it as a truth. It's not easy. We almost have to experience it before we can see it. I've had experiences, I guess throughout my whole life, but I probably hadn't really noticed. But lately I've been noticing that I am an upbeat person. I do gush over things, and I find so many things beautiful and so many things wonderful, and I didn't want to appear gushy or silly or over enthusiastic, so I'd hold that back. And now I'm finding I'm expressing that, and the response that I get is not one of, okay, calm down. I'm getting people saying thank you, or it's almost like the energy transfers to others, and maybe they needed that encouragement, maybe they needed somebody to go, wow, and we don't know what others need. We don't know how what we say impacts others, which is really what I'm trying to say, pole number 3. And there's this sense of, in your reading, it's not only in what you say, but it's in how you reach out to others. Embrace loving touch. You want to hug somebody, of course, in appropriate ways, of course, but if you're listening to my readings, you know what I mean anyway. But the touch of a hand, a hug, we have tried to make ourselves creatures that don't need any of that, but it's not who we are. It's not who we are at all. And there's this sense of, it says reach out and connect, so I feel like this is coming from you. Spirit is saying it's you that needs to reach out and connect. And I'm wondering if in reaching out and connecting, you're going to be given this opportunity probably this week to reach out and connect in some way, pole number 3. And this is like a heads up saying, do it. And I feel that some of you might feel a little bit uncomfortable in doing it. You've got vulnerability here. It might make you feel vulnerable. But there's going to be some, I hate to use the word benefit, because then it means like we only ever do things to get something in return. It's not that energy at all. But there's going to be, this moves you forward in some way. It gives you some greater understanding, and that either sets you on a different path or makes you realize that you're exactly on the path you need to be on. Spirit's drawing my eye to the 18. And the 1 is all about new beginnings. The 8 is all about your personal power. And then that comes to a 9, which is all about endings. It's all about the completion of something. And I feel like there's a way of thinking that is going to be finished for you, pole number 3. There's a way of doing that you're just not going to do that anymore. There's this understanding that you come into that ends something. When we gain new understanding, our old way of understanding finishes. And it's kind of on that level, pole number 3. It's kind of on that level of, I'm just keep getting the word understanding. And maybe it's an understanding that you've had for a little while and it transforms to wisdom because you see, it's an understanding that you had, but you maybe hadn't seen it in action, or you hadn't seen it like in this physical world, and so it was always a hypothetical thing for you. And there's something by reaching out and connecting in some way, it shows you that it's for real. And I love this following card. Deepen your concentration, focus and grow into what could be. That's this. That's that whole energy that I was just talking about. It brings you to a new understanding. It takes you to a new place. Deepen your concentration. It awakens something in you. It makes you see something that you couldn't see before and now you can't unsee. Same with understanding. It makes you understand something that you couldn't understand before, and now that you understand it, you'll always understand it. It's that kind of energy. You can't go back to how you were before, because this transforms, transcends and changes so many things. Now this 43, I'm not being drawn to look at the 4 and 3 as separate numbers. I'm just being drawn to look at it as 7. When I'm seeing, or look at this, you've got 3 7s in your reading. Oh, Spirit. Okay, this changes the rest of this year. We are, in numerology, we are in a 7 year this year. And when I'm drawn to 7s in the reading, I mean, there might be 7s in some reading that I'm not drawn to, but when I am drawn to it and you have 3 7s, this changes the course of the rest of the year for you. And this will impact the rest of the year for you. So what happens this week, and you might not even notice it this week, but what happens this week filters through and alters the rest of this year. And I feel like it makes this year quite important. Focus and grow into what could be. Can you sit with that for a little bit? What could be? What could you be? What could be in your life? Can you see that? Can you, in your mind's eye, can you focus on that and grow it? You've got an ace. It's a new beginning. And it's the wand, so it's soul driven. When you get to the end of 2023 and you look back at how you were at the beginning of the year, you'll be so different. You are changing so much, pole number 3. And the change has been coming along slowly, gradually. You probably haven't even really noticed it. But when you get to the end, and there's no real end, like there's no real end because we're always growing and changing and evolving. But this is going to impact your goals. It's going to impact your life on all levels, or many levels, or important levels. And there's this sense of vulnerability. When we change, we do feel vulnerable because the way we automatically responded to things, the way that we just knew what we liked and didn't like, what we were doing, what we didn't want to do, all that changes. So we can't respond on autopilot. That's perfect, Spirit. Thank you. We're no longer on autopilot, because that autopilot was our old self. So it's kind of like, oh no, I don't think like that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. And so it slows us down, because suddenly making decisions and choices and things like that, we're making them from the new place. The card says vulnerability. To be vulnerable is to be honest and open without the need for insecurity or fearful protection. True vulnerability requires responsibility and integrity. It exposes us, but also connects us to opportunity, courage, and intuition. I like that. It exposes us. And when you are exposed without your masks, without your game face on, you'll be surprised how people react to you. In fact, you really have to just one day bite the bullet and just do it to see, because it's actually quite amazing. You've got this reach out and connect. Here it says it exposes us, but it also connects us to opportunity, courage, and intuition. And I feel that that's what this change is going to bring you. It's going to bring you opportunities. You've got the Seven of Swords here. And it does. It takes courage and intuition to trust yourself, to trust where you're being guided to trust this new you emerging. It takes great courage to allow yourself to be open, loving, and honest about who you are. I love this vulnerability card in your reading. I'll hold it as still as I can, and if it really resonates, take a snapshot of it and put it on your desktop, or put it somewhere where you can read it often. To be vulnerable is to be honest and open without the need for insecurity or fearful protection. True vulnerability requires responsibility and integrity. It exposes us, but also connects us to opportunity, courage, and intuition. I can't tell you how strong we all are. We are so strong. We are so courageous. I mean, look at us. We're this little human being with limited understanding of all that is. Our body is so vulnerable. We're on this beautiful planet spinning through space. How much courage does it take to come to Earth, to leave the connectiveness of the all that is and embrace this physical self, this organic self. You know, to go through the heartaches and the joys and the whole bag of goodies that life is. Can you feel how, when you realize that on some level, can you feel how strong you are, how courageous you are? There is not one person on this planet that is not brave. They might not be brave in the way that you are. You might not be brave in the way that somebody else is. But gosh, we're all brave. We are amazing. We are amazing. You are amazing, pole number 2. And then you've got flow. I'll let that focus for a bit. There's a natural feeling of flow that comes with living on purpose. To flow is to resist nothing and open to whatever is meant for your highest good. Set an intention today to move fluidly with the intelligent, intuitive, and generous spirit of the universe. Flow with life. Flow with how you're changing. Flow with where you're being guided. And sometimes we're not being guided to a place. We're being guided to an understanding. We're being guided to seeing things differently, to growing, to evolving. And then that leads to changes in our circumstances, to changes in our exterior physical world. This reading, pole number 3, is about, on a very simple level, all about loving you for who you are, understanding who you are, seeing who you are without filters. Because when we see who we are without the filters that we place on ourselves, or the filters that we believe society places on us, we blossom, we open. We still have fear, but we become less fearful. We can work through things better. There's a level of honesty about ourselves and where we are and what we want that really transforms and really opens up. And then that allows Spirit to bring, I have it on my on the descriptions at the bottom of my all my videos that I do, is allow your inner light to shine through, because that is the beacon that brings opportunities, people to you, the right ones that are meant for you. If you pretend to be something other than you are, then what you are going to attract is not going to be in alignment with you. Relationships won't be, jobs won't be, the people in your life won't be. And even if they are the right thing, like they've been able to see through that, and they are what is meant for you, because you are then acting what's the way to say that? I'm just getting acting in falsehood. You're acting falsely to how you really are. Those things probably won't stick. They won't stay in your life. This 7 of Swords is, I know so many tarot readers read this card as a negative. I just can't, because of the colours, and this card is seeing opportunities and having the guts, pole number 3, to take it. It's not following the crowd. The crowd's over here doing its own thing, and he's seizing opportunities. He's following his inner light. He's joyful because he sees the potential in things that others have discarded. He sees all the possibilities that we have in front of us. We have always possibilities. And when we feel blocked and we feel like we don't, it's because we've closed ourselves off. It's because we are limiting what we see. We are limiting what we believe we can achieve, or what we believe is right for us. He sees every opportunity, but he doesn't take them all. They're not all right for him, but he will take and try the ones that he thinks are right. He's not taking from others. There's this sense that we feel like, oh gosh, I shouldn't want everything. I shouldn't always want more. Why? Sincerely, poll number 3, I want you to ask yourself why. Why do you feel bad in wanting more? And it's not just you, all of us. The majority of us feel bad because we want more. But as we evolve and grow, shouldn't we want more? Imagine if wanting more was not part of our makeup, if it didn't exist. Would we ever achieve anything? Would we ever grow out of childhood if we didn't want more? At what point would we reach the threshold of going, right, I've got enough, I don't ever want more? See, that mindset, instead of feeling like the desire to want more is bad, the desire, the feeling that wanting more is bad is actually another way that we limit ourselves. It is normal to want more. It is human. It is, if we didn't want more, we would never experience more. We would never evolve and grow and challenge ourselves. We never take away from others. There is abundance in the universe. There is enough for everyone. And remember, you are unique. What you want is unique. And yes, there are some things that we all want. We all want possibly more money. We all want loving relationships. We all want maybe a beautiful home. But what does that mean to you? What does a beautiful home mean to you? How much more money? You know, and is it actual money that you want, or is it opportunity that you want? Everybody's so different. This is seizing the day, my friends. And this is what you're opening yourself up to. Seeing the possibility and being so aligned. The Chariot is also, it's being in an alignment, being so aligned with your authentic self that you know exactly what is for you and what isn't. And there's this sense with this Seven of Swords, it's like, I'm going to try these things. It doesn't mean that everything that he's taking is going to work. The swords are your intellect, your mind. So it's almost like seeing the opportunities and going, right, what can I do with that one? What can I do with that one? Oh, this is interesting. I might have a look at that one. And it's kind of almost like this trial and error. What works for me? This is about being in pure alignment, because you understand yourself, you see opportunities in front of you, and you go for them. And you've got the Chariot. The Chariot is aligning yourself with your authentic self so that you move forward in a straight line. Now, the Chariot is a major arcana, so it's how Spirit co-creates with us, the part that Spirit plays in the co-creation with us. And this is spirit. This is you aligning with spirit. This is you aligning with your soul. When your mind and your soul go in opposite directions, when you're not in alignment with your true self, when you're trying to be one thing when really you're another, you split the chariot, you zigzag, or you zigzag all over the place. And life is difficult, life is a struggle because there's always this push-pull. The chariot signifies speed. Because when we are aligned, when we are true to ourselves, when we allow the flow of the universe, when we are connected with ourselves and with all that is, gosh, we move. The lessons come and they're learned and we move on. We don't hold on to baggage. We're not controlling. He doesn't have reins. He's true to himself. He follows the path. I feel like the chariot is bringing you so much change. I feel like you're, do you know, pole number 3, if you were drawn to pole number 2, go and listen to pole number 2, because if you were drawn to pole number 2, I feel like pole number 2 is where you were, or kind of like almost where you are now, but then this is the very next step. This is like a follow-on from pole number 2. Because there's this sense that you've got choices, you've got options, you're in alignment. And where you feel like you've probably been stagnant for a while, everything flows, everything changes, you change. And we finish the reading with the Ace of Wands. This alignment, this seeing who you really are, it spikes a new opportunity that is passion-filled. It's a soul calling. It's your purpose. And I love, because this flow card said there's a natural feeling of flow that comes with living on purpose. And when you live on purpose, you live awake, you live with intention. But it can also be when you're living with your purpose, you know your purpose. And that our purpose changes throughout our life. There's not one purpose that you stick through all the way through. But that's the sense that this Ace of Wands, there's this gift from the universe that comes in that makes you go, ah. And that's why I was learning everything that I needed to learn. And that's why I needed the insight. That's why I needed to align myself. That's why I needed to be true to myself. You're going to take this gift, because the 7 of Swords shows me that you're going to see it. And you're just going to go for it. You're just, with the Chariot here, you're just going to go for it. And I love how the Ace of Wands is kind of facing these two cards, and the 7 of Wands is 7 of Swords, sorry, is facing these two cards. And then you've got the Chariot smack bang in the middle looking directly at you, pole number 3. You're bringing together everything that you have learned. You're bringing together all aspects of yourself, true aspects of yourself. Oh, this is an amazing reading, pole number 2. And Spirit's telling me again, if you were drawn to pole number 2, or even if you're curious, go and listen to it, because I feel that explains where you've been, or that you're right. It talked about being in a tunnel, and I feel like you're right at the end of the tunnel, right at the opening, about to leap out into the openness. Love, light, Blessings, pole number 3. Thank you so much for joining me again. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. Oh, look at the colours. Let go of comparison. Now, the colours don't show up. The colours on this card are actually really vibrant. Really, really beautiful. Oh, create family balance. Oh, I love, love, love the colours. We have the Page of Cups. We have the 6 of Cups. Oh, I like this with family. And we have the 8 of Cups. Very interesting. All cups, all the emotions. We have inner fire, and we have seeds. Now I'm just prompted straight up just with this inner fire and these seeds. Now I'm in Australia, and in Australia we have our fair share of bushfires, and as devastating as they are, because you know, let's be honest, fires are devastating. Our Australian bush does not regenerate without fire. So there's a lot of native Australian trees and plants that their seed will germinate only if it's been through a fire. So the seed pods need to be burnt in order for the seed to be able to germinate. So there's this sense here with inner fire and seeds, just straight up a guided message. Sometimes we need to go through the fire in order to grow. We need to go through the fire in order to learn. We need to go through the fire in order to get to the next stage. And as I said earlier, you know, fires are devastating. They're painful. And during a fire, you know, things get destroyed. And I'm really feeling that in some way, shape or form, you've been through the fire. Now this can be months ago, years ago, it doesn't matter. It's the sense that the seed pod, you have been burnt, but instead of releasing your seed and allowing it to grow, you're holding on to the burn. You're holding on to the burnt pod and not actually realizing what's inside of it. So the fire that was meant to, for want of a better way or want of better words, the fire that was meant to crack you open and release. Now the release could be anything. The release can be beliefs that you had. It can be the way that you did things. It can be things that are in your life. Instead of releasing all that, you've held it locked into this burnt seed pod. And Spirit is saying, no more. The pain, the suffering, the uncertainty, the discomforts that you have been through, pole number 4, were not to just hurt you. They were not there to, well, you know, life is not always wonderful, you know, we have to suffer, we're here on earth to suffer and things like that. It's not about that. It was to help you gain a level of wisdom, understanding, to move you on, to help you grow something new, So that can be something new in yourself. It can be something new in the outer world. The more I feel like, the more the lesson hurts, the almost the more we need to understand from it, because there's a sense that the more we're holding on to what is, the more we're unwilling to let go, the more we hold on to the pain and not what it's trying to show us, the bigger the lesson in letting go, the bigger the how am I trying to say this? It's the more important this journey is. All our journeys are important, but sometimes there's something within us that gets unlocked, and when we understand what that is, we kind of do this leap afterwards. And then it's in those instances that we change our life quite a lot, or we change our way of being quite a lot. And I feel that's what you've been through, pole number 4, but you haven't unlocked that new aspect of yourself yet. And Spirit is saying, let's do it now. So let's see where this is guiding us. So we have your overall energy, how it starts and how it flows through, or how they work together, and then you have the oracle and the tarot as additional information. So we have let go, embrace the unique you. A few of the readings this week have been about being true, being authentic, being the you that you are. And there's a sense here that you're either looking at who you were, looking at who you want to be, and therefore finding lack in the person that you are right now, or you're looking at others around you and you're finding lack in yourself. The you that you were is no more. The you that you want to be is not here yet. And the others around you that you would like to be or be more like it will never be. You can never be another. You can be more like other people, I guess, but only if it's in alignment with who you really are. And I feel that with this let go of comparison, I feel that it's more likely that you're looking at others that really don't align with you. And I'm feeling that even more so with this 8 of Cups, which is this walking away from things. So we'll get to that a bit later on in the reading. But let go of comparison is, I just had a thought as well. Thank you, Spirit. It's sometimes in this meaning, it can also be you want to do something and there's so many people already doing it that you think, what's the point? The point is, my beautiful pole number 4, is that you're uniquely you. So it doesn't matter if there's a million people doing what you want to do, you will bring something different to the table. So I don't know if you're going for a job interview. I don't know if you're trying to find a romantic relationship, a loving partner. I don't, this could play out differently for all of you. Just know that what you bring to the table is unique. And if it's meant for you, it will be yours. You don't have to be fake. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to be like everybody else. In fact, it's more important that you're not like everybody else. Things come our way sometimes that are not meant for us because we have pretended to be what we are not. And therefore we've attracted things that weren't meant to be for us. The more authentic, the more uniquely you can be, the more aligned you will be with what comes into your life. And the more you will attract the right thing for you. Now this card is full of green and red, and the colors, like I said, they're not showing up beautifully on the video, but they're vibrant. And this green is opening your heart, trusting that the unique you is beautiful. And the red is the courage to embrace this new you, to show the world, not this new you, this unique you, and to show the world your true self. It takes being open, it takes being honest, and it takes courage. It takes great courage. And then you've got create family balance. The ties that bind also free. Now that's quite interesting, because, you know, family ties, you know, our family can tie us to a way of being. But a family, you know, they tend to be the most honest people in our life. We tend to be able to be most like ourselves. It can be quite freeing. You know, we often will treat our parents like we treat nobody else, because somewhere deep inside of us we know that they have to love us regardless. And there's this sense that I feel that whatever family means to you, it could be your friends, it can be your work colleagues, it can be your community, it can be your actual family. Whatever family means to you, I feel like Spirit's saying, look at how you are with them. Because it'll give you great insight into you. We push against our family. You know, they say no and we say yes, we push against them, we tend not, and then we allow ourselves to be influenced by them as well. There's this sense that in this family, again, whatever you call family, whatever it means to you, there's this sense that it's going to teach you a lot about yourself. Or my eye was just drawn to the Six of Cups. How you were with them if they're no longer around, if you've moved, or maybe parents have passed on, or look at how you were. There's a lesson in something to do with our family, something to do possibly with our past, our childhood. And you don't have to go back and relive it. Spirit is saying, please don't do that. There's no need to go back and relive it. There's just an understanding that needs to be extracted from it. And I feel that that's what's going to come to you. And with this Page of Cups, I feel like it's going to really surprise you what comes out of this. So we've got inner fire, and it says, tending to your inner fire regularly keeps your creativity blazing. When working on a project, stoke it every day. This momentum will keep you going until completion, keeping Keep it burning and it will light the way. I love that. I love the fact that if you have a dream or a goal, something that lights you up, something that you are passionate about, doing it once a month is not enough. Coax it gently and slowly until it's blazing, and then you'll see the power in it. You know, if you try to not lighting a fire with matches and things like that, though it can be true as well, but when you try to light a fire, you have to coax it. You don't just throw a flame onto a big log and expect the log to catch. You've got to have kindle there, and you've got to coax it. You've got to encourage it. But once it's lit, you just keep adding to it. It will never burn out. And that's almost what it is. I'm feeling like you're almost at this coaxing state. There's something, because you've got the page here, there's something that's caught your eye or is going to catch your eye, and it's going to surprise you with the fish in the cup. It's quite surprising. And I feel that it kind of makes you go, oh, wow. And it's something that you're passionate about. It's something that wakes something in you. And I'm wondering if it's something from childhood, or maybe it's something that a family member says, oh, remember you used to love doing this, or you were so good at this. And you're kind of thinking, oh yeah, whatever. And then little by little it starts to blossom. And I feel like you're at the very beginning of this possibility, this dream, this goal. And it's almost like you need to add kindle little by little. Start it burning. You don't want it to smoke. You don't want it to just, smoke and then the fire goes out. You want the flame. And the reason why this is important, pole number 4, is because I feel that there's this comparison with others, which is fear-based. It's got the possibility to make you turn your back on this. It's got the possibility to make you go, oh, I don't even know where to start. It's stupid. It was just a childhood dream, or it's too big a leap. I can't do that. There'll be almost this sense that there's a possibility for a lot of smoke to come up, for you to be a bit blinded and then just swamped in it, and then just to put it aside. And we all have choice. We all have our freedom. And you may choose to do that right now. But there's this sense here, if you can just allow it to blossom slowly. Allow the fire to ignite slowly. Keep it small. I feel like this has the potential to be a really huge thing, life-changing thing. Not just for you, but for others around you, pole number 4. So I feel that if the flame grows too big, you'll be swamped by it. And you'll be a little bit like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. But if you just keep the flame little, just keep your eye on it. Allow yourself to dream about it. Allow yourself to, see the potential, the possibility, what can I do with this? It'll be interesting to see what comes of it, pole number 4. And then you have seeds. Every thought and conversation with yourself or an other is a seed that you plant for the future garden of your life. Be mindful of the words and phrases you use, as these are an energy stream that will eventually bloom into reality. Oh my gosh, pole number 4. That's it. There's conversation that you're going to have with family. There's this comparison that you're going to feel inclined to move towards. The comparison of, there's a billion people doing this. What am I going to do? I'm going to be another fish in the pond, and I'm going to be the smallest fish, and I can't be bothered. Or it's too big for me. Or I don't have the knowledge. And the pages show that there's no, the pages have to go and learn something. They don't know. But the page has the beauty of being inquisitive and curious. Every thought and conversation with yourself or another is a seed that you plant for the future garden of your life. And this is your future. This is yourself in the now, wanting a better life or wanting a more aligned life for your future self. How beautiful is that, pole number 4? That you want something better for your future self. When we come from that place, our life improves. It's not, we live in the now. Of course we live in the now. We've got to live in the now, because the now is the only place that we can actually take action in. But to want something more for our future self is beautiful. And I feel with this 6 of Cups, go back to your past self, whatever time that might be for you, and offer that past self love and compassion and gratitude for the flame that it walked through in order to get you to where you are today, regardless of whether you like where you are today. Every step that we takes courage, pole number 4. Every chance that we take takes strength and courage. And the reason that we take them is because in that moment of time, we believe that choice will bring us something better, will enable us to move forward in some way. Now, in the now that we are in now, we have hindsight, so we can see that that decision made by your past self was great or not great. We can't judge, because when you were in that past self's now, with the information that you had then, you made the best decision possible. Would you make that decision again? Maybe, maybe not, but that's how we grow, and that's the beauty of hindsight. The Page of Cups has accepted the gift of the universe, which is the Ace of Cups. The cups in the Ace and the Court cards is about fulfillment. Well, even in all the other cards, it's about fulfillment. It's about emotions. It's about feelings. It's about love. And there's this sense with the Page of Cups that your emotions and your feelings will be going up and down. And of course they will, pole number 4. Of course they're going to. When you are looking at something new that has taken your breath away or has really surprised you, so it's something brand new, and you're kind of going, oh, I can see the potential in this, but I just don't know how to move it forward. I don't know the next step. I don't know what to do with it. I just know that I'm going to hold on to it. Allow yourself to just look at it. Allow yourself to be overwhelmed by it, excited by it. Allow your curiosity to be piqued, to kind of go, what can I make of this? What can I do? Don't feel that you need to have all the answers. You're not at the queen or the king yet. You're not even at the knight, which is the taking action. You're at the page. The very beginning. The page that doesn't know what to do with this gift, but has the ability and the courage to see the blessing in it or the potential in it. Pages are excitable. Pages are like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? What can I do? Oh my gosh. The possibility to learn and to grow fuels the pages. They know that there is so much that they don't know, and they're okay with it. They're okay with it. It doesn't bother them. They don't expect themselves to know it all. And there is a wisdom in the page that is magnificent because they understand that. And that is the energy that Spirit is asking you to embrace, pole number 4. Because when we know that we don't know, we're willing to learn. We're willing to change, and we're willing to give things a go. When we think we know it all, when we come up against something we don't know, we discard it. We kind of almost want to throw it away, like it's, oh, hot potato, got to get rid of it. Because it challenges us, it makes us see that we don't know, and when we believe we should know everything, it doesn't sit well. Allow yourself to be inquisitive, allow yourself to be curious, allow yourself to be in that beginner mind. Now with this 6 of cups, I really feel that this refers back to your family and back to your past. And like I spoke about at the very beginning of the reading, where I said about the Australian bushfires, and you're probably holding on to the burnt seed pod and not realizing that if you let it go, the seeds inside it will spill out. And there'll be newness and growth and regeneration and new understandings and new possibilities in your life. And the seeds that spill out will grow into something new. But there's a sense that from that you've been holding on to the burnt seed pod, which looks useless now. It doesn't look of any benefit. It just reminds you of the pain or the loss. But the beauty of this 6 of cups is that when the 6 of cups comes up, there's something that is heartfelt. There's something that is childlike, and I love that next to the page of cups, because it's almost like this young energy of, you know, when we're children, we don't see limits like we do when we're adults. Our dreams, we can be a princess if we want to. Nobody can tell us we can't. You know, we can be an astronaut. Doesn't matter. We can dream. We dream so readily and so easily as a child. And I feel it's that childlike wonder. It's that childlike inquisitiveness and ability to dream without limits, without constraints, that you're really being guided towards pole number 4. And for some of you, it can actually be, you know, hopes and wishes that you had as a child. But it's beautiful, gentle, loving, open energy. Very, very open energy. And I feel for some of you, pole number 4, I feel for some of you, as you let go of comparing yourself, as you let go of the past, your past self that you might be holding on to, as you embrace this new you that has evolved, I feel like your heart opens, and that's not a little thing. Our heart, our self, our shell cracking open is probably one of the most magnificent things that can happen to us, and one of the most life-changing things that can happen to us. And I feel that's why the Eight of Cups is here, because I feel this opening up changes the course of your life. Now, this can be in an area of your life. It can be just purely about the way that you see yourself, the way you interact with others, and this can be physical things in your life, from the aspect of changing jobs, relationships, where you live, to it being across the board on every area of your life, every wish and goal that you've had. Seeing real radical change in your life. And so for all of you, it will be on different levels, but it can be that, to that magnitude. And I feel when you get to this Eight of Cups, pole number 4, I don't feel it's going to be as painful as you would have imagined, because I really feel there's this sense that you understand this walking away is of your own choosing. You see how the things in your life, or who you were, or how you acted, or what you believed, the you that you are today, doesn't sit right anymore. So they're letting go of them will actually feel, it feels, there's still a level of sadness, pole number 4. I feel a level of sadness, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't swamp me. It's just like, oh, thank you, goodbye, I'm moving on. There's this understanding behind it that makes it okay, that makes it feels so right, pole number 4, that there's a certain joy that carries through the sadness. There's a certain there's this loving energy that accompanies the sadness, because the loving energy guides you forward, and you just understand what it's all been for, where you're going, even though you don't know all the steps yet, because it's the very beginning. This moving forward, this letting go of the past, is really heartfelt. And when we're open, we're just more aligned, there's more understanding and more wisdom in that. And when we move forward with an open heart, yes, there can still be sadness and regret and disappointment, but there's also this energy of understanding and being okay, knowing that you're okay. Oh, pole number 4, love, light and blessings, my friends. Allow yourself to move through this energy as freely as you possibly can. There's just some amazing things that await you, and you really are going to be blown away, but you really need to go through this first. The understanding is what will get you to the next path. Have a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye.